Hello everyone, welcome back to Allcarnews, and today we're here at the CX-90 from Mazda. This is the plug-in hybrid in the Premium Plus trim, and I wanted to take you guys on a tour of Mazda's kind of updated infotainment system, what they're doing with their screens, as well as their all-new full digital dash, as well as some of the cool technology and plug-in hybrid features that we're getting in this all-new CX-90 plug-in hybrid. So let's go take an in-depth tour of this now, because I like some things going on here. Okay guys, so we are inside of the CX-90 plug-in hybrid, and here we have Mazda's new interior space, and it's a really beautiful space, really nice quality materials and everything, but that's all for my full tour and review video. Let's talk about the tech in here, because there's a lot of stuff going on, and I want to start out with this display right here. This all new display from Mazda has to be one of my favorite driver gauge clusters that I've seen on the market right now, just because of the incredible just black quality as well as the graphics. It feels really high quality just looking at it as well, and the brightness levels are pretty good. Now this is the main display that you kind of can always see. So you have your traditional three gauges right there. So left hand side we're going to have our charge and power meter, since this is a plug-in hybrid. We have our speedometer, as well as two fuel gauges. So we have one for our battery as well as one for our fuel tank, and you have a little bit of a multi-function unit on this right hand side that can filter through a whole bunch of little different displays, from fuel economy to compass and some other information. Now let's say you want to have your kind of cruise control or safety sense screen mode on. Then you'll come over to your steering wheel, which is a wonderful steering wheel in its own right. On this right hand side we're going to have our controls for our radar cruise control. Unfortunately, this one does not come with steering assist. I think you have to go for the higher end versions of the 6-cylinder version of this car, and not the plug-in hybrid to get that. Nonetheless though, we do have cruise control, and when you press this button, the whole gauge will change. Kind of the gauges open up. You have this big nice open display here, and this will actually show vehicles kind of moving across next to it, almost like a Tesla would. And you have your vehicle here, and it will know if there's a vehicle following you up ahead, if you're in your cruise control setting. You have all that nice stuff there. Now you can actually make this the default display theme if you go into the settings here, but if you want to have that versatility, you can turn that setting off, and you can kind of easily switch in between these two. Now I really like the animations Mazda is doing with their different drive modes, and that's controlled down here from their MI drive. So you have sport, normal, EV, and off-road, and right now we're in normal mode. Popping it up into sport mode, really cool animation there, and then the gauges kind of like come to life in that aspect. And this is what it looks like in this mode. Looks really nice. You kind of have this like particle styled display going on around it with the, I just kind of zoom in on that for you guys right there. Looks really cool. Back to normal mode, and then we have EV mode, as well as an off-road mode, and that's going to throw up a compass, I believe, that goes up there. And you have kind of like this gear styled system there. So if I go back to this, you can have a compass come in that middle center screen, which is kind of cool. I usually just leave it in normal mode though, 99% of the time. Now we also have a really nice and clear heads-up display up there. I'm not sure if you can see that on camera, and that's really fantastic. Not a lot of information is displayed up there, but it's a very clear display, which I quite like a lot. You do have paddle shifters, control your 8-speed multi-clutch gearbox, which is nice. And you also have an automatic wipers, which is a nice feature, as well as automatic high beams and automatic LED lights as well. Quick, easy access buttons down here to turn on and off your safety systems really easily. You can see the status of that on that right-hand side right there. So that's a nice button if you don't want to have them on. Really nice solid quality in here as well. I love to always feel that. And that's pretty much all the stuff happening with this kind of center display and everything. So it's a very nice display, really high marks in it. I'm kind of glad Mazda is implementing this more on the vehicles, though this is only offered on the top spec version. So you get a regular style display with a multifunction centerpiece and physical gauges on the left and right hand side. So that is one thing to keep in mind if you don't want to chuck out the extra money for this nice display. Now let's talk about this updated infotainment system. So this is the larger screen you can get on Mazda's, and it's pretty big. It's huge. It almost not as big as the Genesis display, but it's a really nice system. And now we're in Mazda's kind of home screen right here. Now, when you're in this mode, it is not a touchscreen. You use Mazda's control wheel, which I absolutely love, and I'm going to explain why I like it. They've really thought about the ergonomics of this car like really well. This display is almost tilted a little bit to the driver. It's nice in your line of sight. It's not in some weird area. So I love the placement of this display, and I hope they never change it. I also love this scroll wheel, and I hope they never ever get rid of this thing, because not only does it feel high quality and nice, it is so easy to use and navigate. I hate hearing people complain about this thing because it's just so intuitive. I can keep my eyes on the road and just like from muscle memory, just turn this gauge and keep my eyes up here and just kind of navigate these settings if I need to. And then you can go into these different screens and kind of go through all the different stuff in there. So I like this system. You have a physical scroll wheel for your volume and tuning, as well as a favorite button, and these 4 kind of main buttons as you have all the time. And one of my favorite features, if you hold down this home button, it will bring you right back into Apple CarPlay, and just hold it down. It brings it right back to the Mazda system. So that's really nice as well. Notifications and things. And in this display, we do have some EV specific stuff for the plug-in hybrid system. So if I go into information, we have a drive efficiency monitor that will kind of show some different stuff. We have our battery status, EV distance driven and regen distance driven, which is kind of cool. Then we can go to our high voltage battery monitor, so we can see specific information on the battery, which is kind of cool. We also can see some other information as well. I usually don't go through a lot of this stuff in here. There's a lot of settings and things in here for EV specific stuff, especially with EV settings. So you can change like a charging schedule. If you want to have it in an EV priority mode, you can change your regen braking level, driving charge target. So if you press this little button here, you can charge the EV battery, and you can set the target that it'll go up to. It takes a really long time, so I'd honestly just plug it in when I have the chance to. And of course, we have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, which is fantastic. You see, have a wireless charge up here, which honestly isn't really good. I honestly just keep it plugged in to charge my phone and just leave the phone in this center console. Just over here, we have 2 USB-C ports, and I will say though, it gets really, really hot in here. It's really hot in here. Like, I'm just putting my hand in, like, wow, that's actually really hot. So I think that's kind of like heat coming from like the whole drivetrain, which is right under this area right here. So that's one thing to consider. It's also not that big of a space either. But when you're in Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, it's a touchscreen. Ah, look at that. People have been complaining about this for a while. Now, we did see this on the CX-90, but this is the first time we're kind of really seeing it on the 90, and it works really well for this all new vehicle. Really quick, responsive if you want to use it. You do have to kind of like reach out, kind of get to it, and it does work while driving now. That's the new thing. So before it didn't really work while driving. Now it does work. So that's really nice of a feature. Mazda listened to the customers there, and now we have that. And if you do use Apple Maps or the built-in Mazda Maps, you will get some guidance information here as well as up in the heads-up display, which is really nice. Otherwise, Apple CarPlay looks beautiful on this display here. Really big display, really crisp and clear as well. The very high quality graphics. I like what Mazda's doing here, guys. It's really, really nice stuff. And of course, you can use scroll wheel, of course, to use Apple CarPlay as well. Takes a little bit of time to get used to, but once you get used to it, honestly, it's still pretty quick and simple to use as well. So nice integration with Apple CarPlay. Of course, you can have it wired as well if you wanted to. Otherwise, it works pretty well. Down here, we can see Mazda separated their climate controls from the infotainment system, which I absolutely love. So we have a nice row of physical buttons for your ventilated and heated seats on this one, as well as your heated steering wheel. There's almost like piano key style switches for your general temperature control, as well as automatic modes, which is really nice. And you can control the rear climate controls right there with this button and settings right there. So it's super easy and simple to use. There's a good amount of charging ports throughout this vehicle. We'll have a 12-volt socket here. We have those 2 USB-C ports down there, and back here passengers are getting 2 USB-C ports, and even the third row gets 2 USB-C ports as well. If you need more, I guess you might have to go for a different vehicle, but otherwise I think that's good enough for most people. Over here we have a nice glove box, nothing too big. It doesn't appear to be illuminated either, which is a little interesting, but it's a decent amount of space there. Again, really nice solid thunk on there. I do have full interior LED lighting, which is really nice, a very soft premium feeling lighting. And that's pretty much it with this interior. I really don't have a lot of complaints with the interior. Some issues with the drivetrain, nothing bad whatsoever, but just some little like nitpicky stuff. If you want to take a quick look at Mazda's navigation system, here it is. Nothing too high quality or intense. Like I said, honestly, you're probably just going to want to put in CarPlay or Android Auto. You do have 3D modes and it's all the fun stuff, but I would honestly end up just using my phone to kind of mirror whatever maps on there, put on Waze, put on Apple Maps, Google Maps, whatever you want on there. Of course, you can have FM radio, AM radio still on here, Sirius XM, Pandora's built in, all that stuff. So You still have all the traditional things, but the easy accessibility of using Apple CarPlay and all that stuff is wonderful. And just to prove to you guys that the touchscreen doesn't work in the Mazda system, it still doesn't. I think that's completely fine because it's a really easy, simple, almost early BMW iDrive perfected way of using it. So yeah, guys, that is this full interior of the CX-90 plug-in hybrid premium plus. And just like I said, a quick mention, you can get even nicer interiors with nicer, even higher quality materials. This is leather, but if you want like an Alcantara or something, you have to go to the inline 6 and step up a little bit to get a little bit more high quality premium features. If you hear that sound, that's just the panoramic roof opening. Really nice open space there. But yeah, guys, thank you for joining me on this video. And of course, as always, stay tuned for more coming from Allcarnews. Cheers.